What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Titans Time Podcast, your Tennessee Titans podcast for the Pigskin Podcast Network. I'm your host, Tyler Staggs. As you can see, we have a very special guest tonight, Lance Smith. Lance, I want to thank you for coming on. And everyone, if you're not already following Lance on Twitter, go give him a follow. Got it up on the screen for you there for I'll be uploading the audio version of this podcast a little bit later. For anyone on there, I will have his link in the description. Easy to follow. Go give him a follow. And for everyone who supports the podcast, one way you can do that is by going and checking out our merch. All you have to do is go to titans-time.myshopify.com/collections/all. We've had some comments before telling us, hey, y'all going to have to shorten that link up. But if you don't put all of it in there, it won't actually take you to all of the merch that we offer. It's also linked in the description for both the audio and YouTube video. And if you're watching on YouTube, if you're in the live chat, back out right quick. That subscribe button, if it's red, click it, turn it gray, hit that bell notification so you never miss when we upload a video or go live. Leave a like on the video, share the video. I mean, let's get more people in here. We have Lance Smith on with us who gets the crowd, I mean, absolutely ready to go for the games. Tries his best to keep everyone up and loud, even if the Titans are down in the game. And leave some comments on the video. If you check out the audio version later, whether it be on Stitcher, Spotify, Apple Podcast, make sure you're following, leave a 5-star rating, leave some comments and questions there. And you can also check out our social medias. On Twitter, it's at Titans_time, Instagram, Titans Time Podcast, and Facebook, Titans Time. Lance, how you doing tonight?
Good, man. Look at that. Look at you taking care of business. That's great. Yeah. Hey, as far as like the hype man job goes, it's like my gig's been relatively easy in that whole get 'em going thing for the past few years because it's like, dude, the Titans are good now. We're good.
Yeah,
We've been good.
they are.
And we're expected to be good. That's part of our problem,
Mm-hmm.
the expectations. But we're good. So yeah, man, it's been awesome. This was my 7th season that we just finished.
So you've been through, as the hype man, you've been through the bad years. Now you're in the really good years. And like you said, now there's that expectation, especially among Titans fans, of, okay, this team is going to be good. And that's why it hurts so much more whenever we do lose, because it's like, man, we should have had that game.
Well, that's
I know you.
That's this season in a nutshell.
Exactly. And I'm sure as far as that job goes, because you have on game days, you're running around like crazy. You're hosting different little games, and I guess you would call them games, or segments, something on that line. And then
technically they're commercials, but we call them games.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, for everyone in the stadium,
buy something. Yeah. No. It's there's a lot going on. This past season, actually, the past 2 seasons have been easier in terms of my job, my quote unquote job, because this year, last year as well, the 2020 season, because I became stationary, as we only had about 12,000 people in the stands in 2020.
Right.
Full stadium this year, but they still wanted me stationary, which I didn't mind because, like, when I first started, so we have a studio in the stadium that is the Titans Blitz studio where I host the Titans Blitz. It's there in the stadium. Now it's underground, and like basically, if you're looking at the stadium, it's underground. It's underneath the stadium, and it's basically in the south end zone on the west side, southwest corner. But the entrance to get on the field, as you know, where the players come out, that's the northwest tunnel. So I would do segments in the studio and then on the field and then in the studio and then on the field and then I did that for 5 seasons. I mean, just the steps I was getting per game was crazy. So that kept me busy. This season, there was this platform in the south end zone that I got to hang out at, and I got to watch the games. And uh, look, yeah, I've worked for the team for 7 seasons, but I've been a diehard fan since they came to town. As a
Right.
Tennessean, it's like Titans come to town. I throw my hat and all I got into that ring. And I've loved the team ever since. But yeah, getting back to it, dude, from the first year that they were the Titans, we go to the Super Bowl. So what do? As a fan base, we set our expectations high, and that's all we know. And we go through the dark ages, and now we're back. And yeah, that is now our problem, is that we are good, and we should win, and that's a good problem to have. That's what you want. I mean, I'm sure that's how Patriots fans feel when they go to the games. They expect to win. Well, that's the category we're in now, and it's a whole new set of problems that Titans Twitter just needs to deal with.
Because Titans Twitter can get very wild, even in
we are
wins.
sensitive. We are sensitive.
we are. And yeah, it's funny because as Titans fans, we expect that, and then the national media gets us fired up because they want to say, oh well, like going into last season, Titans are going to be an 8 or 9 win team. It's the Colts division, and
right.
Doing these YouTube videos and stuff, and I'll admit it, I'm a little bit petty. We had Colts fans who, when Carson Wentz went there, I'm like, and I'm going back and forth with them, and
yeah,
I kind of, we done a show where we kind of predicted how we thought the AFC South was going to shake out, how many games each team would win.
Okay.
And my brother was on with me, and he said Colts 8 or 9 wins. Okay. And in the comments, Colts fans were just ripping him a new one. Like, oh, these guys.
They really thought. I was part of that. I watched all that unfold on Twitter. Mm-hmm. The Colts base really thought Carson Wentz was the answer. And look, I mean, I know I don't know everything about every nuance of the game. Does anybody?
Right.
But you don't have to follow deeply to know that Carson's good? Question mark?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, he was not their answer. Like, that's all they were missing. You know what it is they're drunk on QB power. That's what happens when you go from Peyton Manning to Andrew Luck. And then you get Phillip Rivers as a 1-year Band-Aid, which wasn't bad.
Right.
Dude, drunk on QB power. Carson Wentz was never and look what's happened. So they're all eating crow now, Tyler. They're all eating crow. What did they? What was their record? 8, 9? What did they get? Did they?
I believe they only got.
They didn't get 10.
No, they didn't get 10 because, I was watching that last game. I think they had 9, and because like I said, I was a little bit petty because they were coming at us pretty hard. So I went back to that video because. Whenever we were commenting back and forth after that video come out, I told them, end of the season, keep that same energy. Right. Let's see where things shake out. And so end of the season, they only won 9 games. I went back to them. I was like, hey, not looking so crazy now, are we? Like, we had this right. Carson Wentz folded under the pressure, couldn't beat Jacksonville in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
And like you said, Carson Wentz is good, question mark, because you look at his season, yes, he may not have had that many interceptions, but how many should have been interceptions were there where either the defender dropped it or there was a pass interference called? Like, that was their best offense, aside from Jonathan Taylor.
I watched a lot of Colts football. He killed a lot of drives. It was either by a bad throw or by an interception. He forces too much. I mean, all that stuff. I think he's a competitor, and I think he's an athlete. And he's a better athlete than I'll ever be. Even with 2 broken ankles, he's a better athlete than I'll ever be. That's not what it's about. It's it's the eye test. It's like we watch this game and we're all proper critics. We know what we're looking at. And I've seen him do good things. I saw Mariota do good things. But there's a There's a laundry list of bad things that Carson Wentz does, that it's the reason that they ended up right where we all thought they would end up. So,
Right.
I mean,
Exactly.
deal with it, Colts fans. I
Well,
mean, hey, you
and
got something to look forward to next year. Who knows what it's going to be?
exactly. It's going to be interesting to see how that shakes out.
Yeah.
I do want to ask you because I never really got to talk. I don't know if I seen you tweet out anything about it, but when like Jonathan Taylor was getting all of this MVP talk from the
Mm.
national media, and you go back to the season before where Henry
Yeah.
had
It
over
was a joke.
2,000 yards, everything, and no one was really talking about it,
Yeah. No, it was a
and
joke. I mean,
I'm like,
I will say the year before, I mean, there was like I think the quarterback play was a little stronger, so it was sort of definite. I
mhm,
mean, Derrick Henry was in the talk. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's funny. Everyone in the national media was saying no one's talking about Derrick Henry for MVP. It's like, well, that's you talk that you're doing that.
right,
That's what that is. Um, so that was kind of silly because he was talked about. It took a minute, but he was talked about.
right,
The Jonathan Taylor discussion was, I think, sort of an echo of that, and he was having a good season. But like, if Derek was still
right,
playing, we're not talking about Jonathan Taylor and Derek coming off a
exactly,
2,000-yard season. We're not talking about Jonathan Taylor. So I think it was just sort of like, Derek's off the table. He is leading everyone else in that category as far as running backs go by quite a lot. But
mhm,
like, what other running back was the bell cow, true bell cow that was really doing it? Um,
right,
He was just a placeholder, and I think it was kind of silly, and anyone that really gave it any credence of Jonathan Taylor actually being an MVP. I mean, look, if Jonathan
right,
Taylor wins the MVP, like let's say he got close to 2,000. Let's say
mhm,
19 and some change, and he wins MVP. Like I'd have a hard time with that.
yep,
I'd I can't say what I would do because those are threats, but I'd be upset, Tyler. I'd be real upset with the NFL. No, I mean
I,
it would be insane. You
I
couldn't
I
have.
think Titans Twitter, if Jonathan Taylor would have ended up winning MVP, Titans Twitter may have caused all of Twitter to get shut down
Right.
with all the
Right.
fires that would be started.
Riot in the street. I mean, it
Yeah.
wouldn't. I'm not. No violence, y'all. No
Right.
violence. But whatever's just under violence and in legal form of rioting, that's us.
Right.
Yeah. So I thought that. I mean, look, Jonathan Taylor is a great,
Mhm.
great, great running. He's the best player they have on their team. Um, he's awesome. He is
Mhm.
awesome. I as a man, as a person, as a player, I'm like that's what a great guy.
Mhm.
I'll take Derrick Henry. 8 days a week. So
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, and I want to give Jonathan Taylor his praise because his patience behind the line as
Mm-hmm.
well. Seeing just taking his time, watching the hole open up, and I'm surprised that the Colts don't run more of their offense
Mm-hmm.
through him because I know the first game when they came down to Nashville this past year,
Yeah.
watching that game, I was texting my brother, and I think Taylor only had 10 carries that game,
Mm-hmm.
and he was gashing us that game.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I'm like, why? Obviously as a Titans fan, I'm happy they went away from it and we ended up
Yeah.
getting the win. But I'm like, as a football fan watching that game, I'm like, why are you not
Yeah.
feeding that guy the ball more? Like that could have
Yeah.
completely changed things.
Yeah. Their play calling was certainly suspect in a lot of areas I saw as far as the Colts go. Jonathan's got amazing capabilities. And
Hmm.
if to compare him to Derek, I'll be honest with you, it's like if you're giving who the nod on certain attributes, like I'll take Derek overall just because I think you can sort of the defenses have to really respect him more
Right.
than Jonathan Taylor. Like Jonathan Taylor is going to get some looks, but
Hmm.
he's not going to get the team lined up as a
Right.
wall like all the time like he would Derek. So it really forces the defenses to make decisions. So I think you can, as an offense, you can do more with Derek because he's such a force.
Right.
But I think Taylor I'd give him the nod on overall field vision. I think that's where he
Mm-hmm.
gashes teams. He has field vision that I haven't seen since peak Le'Veon Bell with
Mm-hmm.
the Steelers. Remember how Le'Veon had that ridiculous
Yep.
hand the ball off and just sort of walk behind
Yep.
the line and sort of look and then take off?
Yep.
Find that Taylor has that, but at high speed. He can be running
Right.
full speed and keep that vision. Not ever seen that. Haven't seen lateral strides like he has
Mm-hmm.
since Tomlinson,
Right.
LaDainian Tomlinson doing the shifty. But again, full speed. So that I give him nods on stuff like that. He's got endurance. He's got
Mm-hmm.
strong endurance, but he doesn't have the Henry endurance. I've never seen a man
Right.
in the fourth quarter get better like that.
Yeah, exactly. After being hit all game,
Yeah.
a running back should be a little wore down, and Derrick
Yeah.
is just like, okay, who's next?
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go and jump into a couple of these comments here right quick. Have
are
my
there comments?
have my wife in the chat. She says, "Tighten up."
Hey.
Titan. Titans Rossi, so excited for this show. What's up, Lance? Good to see you.
What's up, guys? Titans Anderson, Titans Rossi.
Then
Mr. Lacey.
Yeah.
Man.
Anonymous. I wanted to get your thoughts on this. Anonymous asks, will the Titans get a new stadium? And if so, will it be a dome or outdoor stadium? What are your hopes for all this talk?
Funny, I know some inside information on some of this stuff, and that even surprised me. When they came out with it, so
right.
I'm just as floored as everybody else. Look, dome's cool. I would love a retractable roof. I know a lot of cities have them. I think that would be cool. Or even something like outdoorsy hybrid retractable. In other words, you're sort of still in the elements, but maybe you're covered. That would be fine. I don't need a field house like Indianapolis or anything like that. As far as my preference, Nissan Stadium's interesting. It's she's a good old gal. She's got good bones. So it's you're not ready to put a stick of dynamite in her. But spend some years and bring on the new. And especially you want to strike now while the iron's hot. I've seen plans that they have for down in that area, and it's amazing. And Nashville, as it continues to bloom and blossom, I'm so proud of my hometown. That side is just completely underdeveloped, and it's going to take off. So what's it going to be? I don't know, man. I don't know. I like the elements though, and so I'm partial to what we have already.
Yeah, I know. After talking with a couple other people about it, I kind of like the idea of the retractable roof, where you can open it up. And then, of course, I was talking to you before the show, I like the elements to an extent, but like the game against Houston where it was pouring down rain, ended up losing. I was soaked to the bone and then had to drive an hour and a half home while soaked. I was like, okay, this would have been one of those times where a retractable roof would have been nice. Stay dry for at least the game.
Or even just some sort of over the seats.
Right.
Just the hole of the seat. So, I don't
know. Only thing I want is stay away from turf. Just keep real grass.
Yeah, no, the grounds crew, they've done a spectacular job over recent years. I mean, the field looks great all the time, even after major events. They do a good job. But yeah, I'm with you. I mean, it's tough when the weather's bad. If it's rainy or if it's cold. It doesn't rain too often, but it happens. For years, actually, it didn't. For many, many, many years, it never rained. It had never rained until I want to say 4 years ago. It was the first rain game. Wow. I think that's right. That's what somebody's telling me. But yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing. You compare. I hate the comparisons, and I'm proud of what the Preds do. I'm not a soccer guy. I have no ill will to Nashville City soccer, National Soccer Club, whatever. I'm just not a soccer guy. It's not my thing. when you compare like all the events, and I used to go to Sounds baseball games, all the time growing up.
Hmm.
I love all that Nashville sports stuff, but a Titans game is an event like no other. Preds game is a
Right.
fun event. You're inside. It's 20,000 people or so. I don't know how many seats, but it's fun. But a Titans
Hmm.
game is an event. Like you've gone to this Coliseum and it's a
Right.
major thing. And so I guess that's why the sort of elements play a part of that for me. You're all in it together.
Right.
Some September games we sweat all over each other. Hello,
Right.
everyone in the 300s baking.
Yeah. Yeah, that they definitely I know we're down in the lower bowl and it gets hot down there, but I couldn't imagine being up in the 300s with that sun just feeling like it's
I've
literally
done it.
right there on you.
Yeah,
But,
no, I've done it. I've done it back in
yeah,
but yeah, before I was working for the team, man, that's where I was sitting.
right. So before we jump into your top 10 moments, I do want to ask because, like you said, during the games, you are trying to get everyone hyped up even more. Just top 3 games this year that,
Oh.
say your job was the easiest for getting everybody hyped up.
Oh, the easiest at prime time. Prime time. We had the 2 primetime
Mhm.
games at home. Buffalo, obviously, which is on my list coming up.
Mhm.
That's Buffalo. Or well, actually, we did because was San Francisco. Was that a Thursday night game?
It,
Yeah, it
it
was.
was.
It's prime time anyway. Buffalo, San Francisco. Those games and yeah, first half against the Chiefs. Again, coming up in my
Mhm.
list. Yeah, just
Right.
anytime that you're taking it to a powerhouse like that.
Right.
Those are the sort of easy moments because it's like we're all feeling it. There's no effort there for me. It's just I'm spiking a football, so to speak, with
Right.
everybody else. So, yeah, those are the easy moments.
I got you. Yeah, I was just curious because I know, like, of course, those primetime games, when just as a fan coming into the stadium, like you could tell the energy
Yeah.
was different and just amazing. And then the playoff game against the Bengals, that was probably for me because, like I told you, this was our first year as season ticket members. For me personally, that was the loudest I've ever heard
Oh
Nissan Stadium
no, we
was
were.
that game against the Bengals. And,
That's
because
yeah,
whistles being blown.
yeah. It was there.
Go ahead.
We wanted it was there. I mean, that's part of like the heartbreak is because I mean, we all knew it. We all felt it. We hadn't had, I mean, the year before we had our first home playoff game in forever, but it was, 15,000, I think was the max. I don't even think it was
Mhm.
that much. So this was a home
Right.
playoff game, and it was supposed to be there. All the pieces were there. So, and everybody had talked about it on Twitter, and it's what you do. And if we're in the same place again next year, you go all in because that's what you do. But everyone was like, I'm too scared. I'm scared
Mhm.
to expect or to hope, and it's like, but that's all you got. You don't we don't get these moments that often,
Right.
and you definitely felt it. So I will say that yes, of the top 3 moments of the season stand for me in terms of like crowd noise and energy. But you're right,
Mhm.
what trumps all of that is the Bengals game, and for me personally, because we haven't really had one, and this is
Mhm.
pretty organic. We had the pep rally night before, and
Mhm.
the fan group Two Tone Blue Nation, they rally, man.
Right.
Those guys party. They came in and they had a chant going, and they were doing it at the pep rally, and I was listening, and I was like, and I'd heard it before, but it hit, and then I was like, I talked to him, and I was like, guys, I'm gonna hit that on stage at this pep rally, and we did it.
Right.
And then we just decided to go for it at the beginning of the game, and a lot of the stuff we do from inside the stadium, from behind the scenes, and the things that we put up on the jumbotron in the games we play or the songs
Mhm.
we play, whatever. We're trying to cast a wide net to please a lot of people. You're going to play songs that
Right.
not everybody's going to like. You're going to do things that not everybody's like, but we're just we're trying. There's a lot of people going for it. And
Right.
this was not something that was like planned. I just told my boss, I said, I'm gonna tee up that chant and let's see if people just go with
Right.
it. Let's not tell them what to do. And it's Tennessee, tighten up. Tennessee, tighten up. And we did that at the start of the game. And like I was so happy and impressed because it was organic and it came right back at us, and everybody, Matt Rogers on PA did it back and forth with me a couple times. And then we
Right.
and then he let it go, and then I was just sort of doing the call and answer, and it sounded so good. So that's something that I hope and that I want to shut up on. I want the crowd to take that and run with it. Tennessee, tighten up. Tennessee,
Right.
tighten up. Because, man, that thing goes, and it's like a heartbeat. And that was a fun
Right.
moment before that game. I'm reading the
Yeah.
chats here. Let's into that. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Let's see. Primetime games were definitely some of the best to go to. Seemed to be more electric in the stadium. Melody,
our lights are
lot
awesome.
in the house.
What up, Melody?
I agree. We only missed one home game, and it's because we were up north visiting with my wife's family. And it just so happened to be the Thursday night game against the 49ers. And
really?
Yeah. So, I'm watching on my phone the game, and I'm like, man, I love spending this time with family, but that right there looks amazing to be a part of. So,
my wife's had to learn, to understand, how important this is to me. She knew I was a diehard Titans fan before we met, but yeah.
It's funny that you mentioned that. Like my wife, I told you she was born up north, and her entire family is Patriots fans. So she grew up a Patriots fan, and
I get it.
after we met, she saw my love for the Titans, and just really the roller coaster ride that being a Titans fan is. And she's in love with the team now too, and there's times where she tries to give me a run for my money in like she's like, hey, let's come on, let's go. Every game, me and her both were without voices at the end. Like she was giving it everything she had. So
that's what I'm saying. That is so. I always say, it's the victory is it's worth the risk. It's worth the risk of putting it all out there and believing and screaming your head off and just losing control, because it's an escape from it is entertainment, but it's more than that, because you're with so many people that are all giving it their all, and then it becomes family, and then it's more than entertainment. It's way more than entertainment. And I'm not a sports person. I don't watch any other sport. I really don't, because I'm too busy and I do too many other endeavors, and I'm not a sports guy. I used to be more into other sports. I pile all my sports energy into pro football, because I was a pro football fan before the Titans came to town, and so obviously when we get a team, they're my team. And that's all I'm into.
Right.
And so it is. It's just all or nothing with this team for me, man. And I get it. And I've had people come up to me in tears after a game, and then I'm crying with them, win or loss, man. I don't know. It's just I love. I lost my flag. I got to put my flag up.
No.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Even your flag got excited and knows that it's time for its ups and downs with the Titans.
I have 7 different flags all in here that I put up depending on my mood. Often it's the Steve and Eddie flag.
Right. Yeah, I have that one as well. I got to find room in the podcast room here to get it put up.
Oh,
and
man,
Lance,
all my
ahead,
because my wife is like, where are you putting that? Where are you putting that? In the office.
Yeah. Yep. I have one wall right now behind me that has pretty much filled up, and I still have more stuff. I have some paintings Titans paintings that need to be put up. I have what used to be the backdrop, my signed Keith Bullock jersey. I've got it over to the side here.
Yeah.
Needing to find wall space for it.
Chef Bully.
Bobbleheads on the table that I got to get something for. So I understand. I keep telling my wife I'll see some Titan stuff. I'm like, man, I want to get that. She's like, we don't need that right now. I was like, I kind of do.
Yeah, I gotta get more stuff. I'm reading comments now.
Well, Lance, we can go ahead and
let's do it.
Yeah, we can start getting into your top 10 here.
All right, tell me when.
I don't know if you're good to go. Let's go ahead and start with number 10.
Okay. See it now. So here's the deal. Like this, I came up with this list just off the top of my head. Things that really stood out to me. And honestly, if I went back over the season and watched it all again, this list would probably be completely different. So I can't say that hands down these are the ones,
right.
But this is what really sticks out for me. And I don't know if this is the proper order, but I'll go 10 to 1. So we'll start with number 10. This might seem really weird for a lot of people. But, you know, in a year that coming off of Derrick Henry's 2,000-yard season, all of our expectations were that he was going to do it again because he's getting an extra game. We've added Julio Jones, so there's going to be an added air threat. We thought, oh my God, and all those things would have happened if not for injuries. But what happened, and Derrick, of course, we lose him for the rest of the regular season. But y'all, Adrian Peterson was a Titan. I got to see Adrian Peterson score a touchdown in a Titans uniform, and in a franchise that has had marquee players. I mean, going back to Oilers franchise, okay, Mr. Campbell, okay, but Eddie, CJ, Henry, like, I mean, we are a running back machine. John Robinson went out and got us Adrian Peterson. Yep. Didn't work out. Wasn't what we needed. We found what we needed, which we'll get to.
Right.
But Adrian Peterson, Hall of Famer, was a Tennessee Titan for a minute. Not as long as Randy Moss. Randy Moss wore the uniform longer. But Adrian Peterson was a Titan. And so that was kind of a moment for me. Not just because it was, oh, my God, it's Adrian Peterson. But to me, it's also that thing of, like, John Robinson is a gamer. Like, I greatly appreciate what John brought to this team, what he does for us, his swings and his misses, because he's trying. He's going for it. You know, Vic Beasley went for it. That's Vic's fault. That's his problem, not John's. Clowney. Hey, we clamored for Clowney, and he got him. And we celebrated. Never mind what happened with him. He went for it. And he went for AP. And so it's like AP, it's not just that it's like it was about AP, but it's what he represented in that moment. So that was a big moment for me. That's my number 10. 9, damn right, Foreman and Hilliard. Again, Derrick Henry going
That's right.
And Dante Foreman and Dontrell Hilliard, especially Foreman, though, right? Brought it. Absolutely brought it. And, you know, so again, this isn't like a play. This is sort of one thing about our team that I was so impressed with. And I don't know what's going to happen for the future. I love me some Foreman in the backfield. I got to tell you that.
Right.
Dude can hit the hole. Actually, he doesn't really hit the hole. He just hits men. He really likes taking on contact. Yeah. And I thought Hilliard was a really solid pickup as well. Speedy, quick. So again, J-Rob going after it, getting it done, and the team, you know, is somehow, again, this is all part of Foreman and Hilliard are a part of why Vrabel got Coach of the Year, because those rushing numbers didn't change really.
Exactly.
The flow of the offense changed, but the numbers
A
didn't.
little bit.
Yeah. So and listen, feel free to tell me if I'm crazy on any of these.
So far they sound great, and I know you said you just come up with these kind of off the top of your head, and if you went back and watched the season, but that's what I've told so far everyone that I've had on. I'm so interested to see other fans, what they consider some top moments, whether it be, going back watching the season, finding them, or just off the top of their head, because
Yeah.
everyone's is going to be different. You'll have some like I'm sure we'll get into Kansas City, Buffalo.
Yeah.
Some of those will be on everybody's list, but there were so many moments
Yeah.
and plays this year that stand out, and even things like what you mentioned, even if it's not a play that happened,
Yeah.
like Adrian Peterson being a Tennessee Titan, him
Yeah.
scoring a touchdown,
Yeah.
then the spark after they got their feet under them that Hilliard and Foreman were
Yeah.
able to provide, and seeing Foreman, like you said, he's looking for the next guy to hit, and Titans fans everywhere are like, okay, we need to bring Foreman back and have
Mm.
him and Derrick Henry paired together all of next season because, and I've said this several times, teams look at Henry and how big he is, strong
Yeah.
he is. Man, we have to hit this guy for 4 quarters. So when
Yeah.
he goes off the field, they're like, okay, we got a little breather here.
Mm-hmm.
Smaller running back's going to be coming in more than likely. And no, now Foreman comes in and it's like, okay, got to buckle the chin strap up tighter again and get
Yeah.
ready to have to really hit somebody.
I mean, Foreman is a kind of back that, like Derek, you do have to feed him so he can sort of find his rhythm and get that. But
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, like he could be a really incredible third down back. Not that he's catching a lot of stuff out of the backfield, but because I mean he hits
Right.
the line of scrimmage faster than Derek does. I mean he like goes
Mm-hmm.
for it. I think that's just Derek's style. He
Right.
looks for that first cut because I mean if he gets it, he's gone. I mean think about how many runs Foreman had that got stopped just whatever at the last that
Yeah.
you thought to yourself, Derek would have taken it. Derek would have taken
Yeah,
that away.
exactly.
But because that's just where Derek was, like you get Derek beyond the line of scrimmage, it's over. But
Right.
Foreman, I think, hits the line of scrimmage quicker, faster, harder, whatever combination. And so, yeah, that
Right.
could be the combo. That could be an amazing combo if they can do it right. I don't know
Right.
how we keep Foreman. That's the math and the contracts and that stuff. That's I try to pay attention and I listen and nod, but I've never seen 2 commas on my paycheck, so I just let those grown men deal with it. But it's like we had smash and dash. I think Henry and Foreman would just be smash your damn face. I don't know who's what
Yeah.
in that labeling, because that would just be painful to be a defensive back.
Yes.
Take that on. All right, moving on. So what are we at? 10-9-8. Just the entire game. Titans, San Francisco. The Niners coming to town. It was at a moment in the season where I thought the Titans. We mentioned this earlier in the show. Titans get a lot of national disrespect. We put a lot of that on ourselves when we lose to the Jets and we lose to Houston and we get demolished by the Patriots. When they're not, it's like, damn it. We lose the games we're supposed to win. We don't get talked about enough, though, when we win the games we're supposed to lose. And that's my problem with the national media, and that's probably everybody else's problem as well. The Niners were hot, baby. They were hot, and that was everybody's team. And coming to Nashville, taking on a decent Titans team was everybody's,
Yep.
but it was like, Niners are hot, and we showed up. And back and forth, it wasn't one of those like Kansas City Chiefs games, the earlier, which we'll talk about.
Right.
It was a battle, but that second half, we turned around and punched them in the mouth. And
Yep.
just under the lights, as a game as a whole. Again, prime time. We'd had a few of those this season, and like that was a huge moment for me. Deebo Samuel, what? Somehow found a way to stop him. God,
Yeah.
that dude so good.
It's crazy how many different ways they're able to get him the ball, and he never fails to make the most of it. Like, he can hurt your team in so many ways. So,
Yeah, he's such a just dangerous, player. I mean, I see so many similarities between like Debo and AJ Brown. I wish we just used
mhm,
AJ maybe a little bit more like Debo. I don't know. I mean, it's like that's armchair
right,
quarterback stuff. I don't want to get. I also don't want to get AJ hurt. I've seen a lot of stuff
right,
they put Debo in a position for, and granted, it's out of desperation, but that like a
mhm,
smarter team wouldn't do that with such a star player that you require so much of. But
right,
AJ can handle it. I just want to see the ball in AJ's hand more. That's all.
right.
All right.
Well,
Next
and
up.
like,
Oh.
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I was going to say next up. Okay, so here's a single play. I think it's the first single play on my list. Early in the season, road game. I
Mhm,
was there. I watched this one with my own eyeballs.
mhm,
Kevin Byard scoop and score against the
yep,
Jags. Big hit early in the game. I mean, early in the game.
mhm.
Was it the first play? God, I can't remember. I said I was there.
It
I tailgated before
it
the game.
was, uh, I believe it was the Jaguars' first play of the game,
It was, wasn't it?
because they threw
That's
it
right.
to Eifert, I believe, and
He got
Molden
popped.
come over, laid a textbook
Yes.
hit, and ball popped out. Byard picked it up and
Yeah.
took it to the house.
The reason that stands out so much for me is because it set the tone, said a lot about our
Hmm.
defense, said a lot about Kevin Byard, because Kevin had high expectations coming in this year. He's a ball hawk.
Right.
He's going to get there. Molden making an impact early, young player, new to the team. Like, all that stuff was on display, and it was one of those moments you just knew, like, oh, okay. Oh, okay, we're going to be
Hmm.
bullies. All right.
Oh
Let's
yeah.
bully. Let's bully. So that play was such a defining moment for me. Um, let's see. Yeah, Jim, you were there. Next up, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Number 6 on my list of my top 10 moments. Um, speaking of bullying, dude, at Indianapolis, this is our second meeting against the Colts. They're supposed to take
Hmm.
care of business. Colts were talking mad trash because they were getting hot, and we
Yep.
knocked the snot out of them. And the play for me, because it wasn't just about this guy doing it, he was an opportunistic player being in the right place and taking care of business. But our defense
Hmm.
and up against their goal line, Carson Wentz winced, and
Yep.
Molden gets the pick six. But it was because of that swarming defense. He didn't know which way was up and was just trying to
Yes.
get rid of the ball to save his life. And that was a big moment of like, yeah, we got your number. Yeah. So Molden's
Yep.
pick six at the
Exactly.
end was it for me.
And I like that because we've had, you know, a couple of people I've had on to do this. They've picked either individual plays from that game or had the Power Hour on, and he mentioned just the Indianapolis games combined. That one up in Indy going down 14-0
Oh yeah.
early, and it's like okay, we got to regroup here. Something's got to
Yeah.
happen, and then just getting towards the end of that game and our defense getting after Wentz, like you said, Carson Wentz winced and just
Yeah.
threw it up. Molden took advantage. Then you had Byard in overtime, just knew that Wentz was trying to feed Pittman, and that
Yeah.
was his go-to. And
Yeah.
he broke on the ball, picked it off, and just great game, great plays. Like I
Yeah.
said, there's so many. If you just went off of plays for this year,
Yeah.
you could probably have a top 25 or 30
Oh
easily.
yeah. Yeah. There were numerous plays that were just I mean, I when I was coming up with this list, I was thinking of other just plays that were awesome. But I'm trying to think of moments that because it was an awesome play or moment, but it also like sort of
Mhm.
carried more meaning. Because there was that. I mean,
Right.
I don't have it on my list, but Julio Jones, damn, coming up off the helmet, running back,
Yeah.
catching it. It was like that was it counted, and it was a huge play.
Yeah.
Like that didn't make my list, but it was incredible. Should have been on the list maybe because it was
Right.
also sort of defining of Julio Jones being on the team doing what he does.
Hmm.
But yeah, there were a ton of individual plays like that. The interception in the playoff game that we didn't win, damn near off the
Right.
ground. Like, just
Yeah.
effort was there. And which just tells you, and you've got the right coaching staff that as a fan base, don't give up, don't let up. Don't give in, don't let up. We're going to
Right.
get there. Our coaching staff has this team locked down, and this is who we are. This is our identity. 31 other teams
Right.
cry at the end of the season. And that's
Yeah.
just how it is. This is the nature of the beast. But would you rather be one of the ones that's like in the mix constantly, or just hope for one
Right.
moment? So that's where we're at now.
Right. Yeah. That's a good way to look at it. And since we're at the halfway point, I do
Yeah.
want to jump into a segment of the show right quick. Have our best bets segment presented by DraftKings. And, DraftKings, I know football's over. I know you said that you're not
Yeah.
really a sports fan anymore. It's all on football. But for really any sports fans, if you like doing a little bit of betting and, NBA still going on, well, DraftKings, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, is too good to pass up. And, they have an offer that's too good to pass up on. I'm talking like a Ja Morant between the legs 360 windmill because we know the guy has the hops for it and will probably do it over a 7-footer, at least attempt it. New customers can bet just $1 on any team and get $150 in free bets if that team wins. It's that simple. If Sportsbook isn't available in your state yet, you can still take your shot at a big payday. Everyone can pay. Everyone can play for huge cash prizes with DraftKings Daily Fantasy Basketball Contest. DraftKings is giving all new customers a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes with their first deposit. Simple. Just download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code TPPN. Bet just $1 on any NBA team and get $150 in free bets if they win. That's promo code TPPN at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Must be 21 years or older. Minimum age and location requirements vary by jurisdiction. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for a full list of requirements and state-specific responsible gambling resources. Void where prohibited. Minimum $5 deposit. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. In Tennessee, call or text the TN Red Line, 1-800-889-9789. In Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat. In New York, call 877-8-467-369 or text 467-369. And last week's show, for everyone who listens to our best bet segment, I tell them this is not betting advice, but I had Titans and Truth on with me. We were talking about the Grizzlies. They were getting ready to play the Bulls. And at the time, they had the Grizzlies money line at plus 100. So bet $1, double your money. And I said, hey, I think the Grizzlies can go up to Chicago, led by Ja Morant, and get that win. And they went up there and got the win. So
Did they
far
go
in the
over
offseason,
100?
I'm doing pretty good.
Did they go over 100?
Um,
Wasn't that the
I
bet?
think I think the
Oh,
Grizzlies. I think the
oh,
Grizzlies
it was
did.
plus 100 was the line. Oh, I thought you said the money line. Okay, my
Yeah,
bad.
plus 100 was the money line there. Or yeah, so you know, double double your money there. And John Morant, just to hit on him right quick, dude has been going crazy. I mean,
Yeah,
Tennessee sports are very lucky right now.
I know, right? It's like the Preds are good, National Soccer's good. Obviously the Titans and yeah, the Grizz, man. Yeah, Ja is a human highlight reel. I hate seeing. I saw some stuff on Twitter today. Again, I don't. I'll watch a game. I just don't follow the sport.
Right.
Like I follow NFL. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, I mean, but I do. I really like the NBA playoffs. The season's long. There's a lot of damn
Right.
games. So I
Right.
don't. I can't follow. But the playoffs get interesting. You just catch up on the storylines. Um,
Right.
but Ja Morant is so electrifying, so fun to watch. But I saw
Mm-hmm.
something on Twitter today, something about can't wait to get him out of there so he plays for a major market team. So
Yeah.
eyeballs get on him, which I understand what they're saying. It's
Yeah.
like it's too bad that more people aren't noticing, because people in on the West Coast are not watching Memphis games, or people in New York
Right.
are not watching Memphis games unless the Grizzlies come to town. And
Mm-hmm.
that's just the nature of the beast in terms of large market, small market, whatever. But that's what you love about sport, and that's why a lot of people like college football or college sports because of that
Mm-hmm.
passion for the school and whatnot, and the team. And you want to see more of that in the pros. You don't, unfortunately. You see a lot of like powerhouses just trying to get together. It's all about the money, but for the
Right.
time being, man, Memphis, Tennessee, soak it up. Ja is home and he's in town, and he loves the team and seems to love the city. So I hope
Right.
he stays for a while.
And
So
the
that was neat.
Grizzlies,
Oh,
they had,
nice.
yeah, that's awesome, Jim. And the Grizzlies have that young core. I mean, I think they
Yeah,
have, I saw where they have the second youngest team in the
yeah,
NBA. And,
yeah,
Ja Morant is leading this team to where they're just one or two wins out of the number 2 seed in the West.
yeah.
Like, and, the game last night, I I have Hulu Live,
Uh
and
huh.
I'm gonna have to get in touch with someone there because you would think living in Tennessee, Hulu has live sports. You'd
Right.
think you'd get some Grizzlies games, especially when they're
Oh,
playing at home.
oh yeah.
No,
No. Mm-mm.
not on there. Posters a 7-footer, followed up
Right.
by hitting like a half court three,
Oh, he had an
insane
unreal
buzzer
game.
beater.
Yeah. Was he
Yeah,
over 50
like
points? I think he went over
at
50, didn't he?
52.
52. Right. Yeah. So he goes nuts. Yeah.
So
Right. But no, no, no. You're better off cover catching an Atlanta Hawks game in your market than you are.
yeah,
You would think you. That's crazy. Yeah. No, it's
yeah,
funny. Ja, his skill set, just to watch him, and his abilities, because he's not that big. He's not, like
right.
he's not built. He's very 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 sort of slight, very sort of slim guy, tall still,
Hmm.
but just what he can
Right.
do with what he's got. He's like a little bit of peak Russell Westbrook when he was,
Hmm.
at sort of his, because he had
Right.
to me such ability to improv in a way before he turned into whatever
Right.
he's become now. Again, I'm not following it all the way, but I did understand, how good he was. I always loved watching, again, going back some years, Rajon Rondo at his peak in his abilities,
Hmm.
what he could do with his body and his ball control. It's like I see that a lot, and Ja just has that sort of like, you know, perfect composite athletic thing,
Right.
power, speed, court vision, ball handling.
Hmm.
It's all there. And then his ability to unlock it at explosive moments is what's crazy. Just knowing, like, you watch him make these plays, and it's like once it's over with and everyone's losing their mind, and you watch the replay, you realize like he was mentally just a step ahead of everybody through that whole
Right.
execution. Like he knew the spin was coming
Exactly.
when he was at mid court. He knew the spin
Yeah.
was coming, and it's just wild. It's like a magician.
He is. It's insane. I told you about being, getting to go up to all these Titans games and everything.
Yeah.
I've been to one Grizzlies game in my life, and I may have to find a way to get back over to
Yeah.
Memphis and see. I want to see Ja play in person. Like he's one of those guys where
Yeah.
it's like, okay, like even this year, getting back to like the Titans, seeing the Chiefs and the Bills on the
Yeah.
schedule for a home game, I'm like, okay, getting to go and see, like Tyreek Hill, Patrick Mahomes, some of these
Yeah.
guys come to town and actually watch them play in person.
Oh
Like
yeah.
that's something that, you like being able to see.
Yeah. No, I mean that's why the prices go up, man. I mean Patriots come to town, and
Yeah.
everybody wants to see Tom Brady as a Patriot one more time. Those prices went up, and we got to
Yep.
everyone got to see Tom Brady lose. Ha ha. No, I know what you
That's
mean.
right.
When the Patriots, you said that, which made me think of that instantly because it is cool. I mean, so this past 2 seasons I haven't been on the field. Because of COVID, limit greatly who has access to the field and how long they're down there. Because
Right.
pre-COVID, man, I was behind the bleacher or behind the not bleachers, behind the bleachers. That's high school football. I was behind the bench for the Titans all the time, or you make eye contact with one of the players. They say, "Hey," it's very cool.
Right.
And when the Patriots came to town, and we whipped up on them something fierce, it was cool because I was on. At one moment, I was on the visiting sideline when Tom came off the field, just pissed because the Titans were winning. And it was fun because it was like, wow, that's Tom Brady, and he's mad because of what the Titans are doing. And he's really tall. I'm 5'10". It's like everybody's
right.
But yeah, no, it's cool.
Yeah, that I'm sure that moment would have been a good one. And yeah, you don't realize how, like, obviously you hear how tall some players are or see, their height and all that.
Yeah.
But when you're actually like right next to them, that's when it clicks a little bit more. It's like, okay, didn't really, envision this in my head just right.
It's funny because I've interviewed a lot of the players. I haven't talked to a lot of our Titans players. A lot of people think I talk to everybody, but I really don't. I talk to a few of them every now and then, especially post-game interviews when we win. But
right.
Like Jeffrey Simmons, he's big, but like he's proportioned in such a way that like you don't realize like how big he is unless he's hugging you. Not that he's really hugged me, but we shared a mic.
Right.
But he's not like a monster. And that's probably a good thing because it allows him,
right.
He's still got to be nimble. But he's a big dude.
Right.
He's big. But who's mountainous big? Saffold. Roger Saffold is a building with a face mask. I mean, he's enormous. And it's not, it's not Vince Wilfork big, He's not,
right.
He's not Tony Saragusa big. His
right.
shoulders and his back you could land a plane on, and he's just massive.
Right.
Like Jarrell Casey was not really that tall. Now he had some girth to him, especially before he went vegan. But Jarrell Casey was never really that big. Just power, big butt and thighs, break through the line. But Roger Saffold is a big man. Just speaking in terms of large humans who play this game that we love.
Right.
Roger Saffold's a large human being. That's all I'm
gonna say. Yeah, like I said, when you're up in the stands, you're looking down, and it's like, okay, I know he's supposed to be big, but it completely. Even watching, like you said, Roger Saffold, just seeing how big he is. Yeah. I think where it really clicked for me is when he went on Bussing with the Boys with Taylor and Will, seeing him sit on that couch, because Taylor's 6'6", 6'7", and 300 pounds, and you see Saffold sitting there, and you're like, good grief. Like, this dude, like you said, he's massive.
Yeah, his back is the biggest back I've ever seen on a human being. Like I don't know. I feel like I could play running back if we were going to run left. If they just put me in like a little knapsack and tuck me behind Roger Saffold, he could just take me the distance. No one would see me. Like, where's the guy with the ball?
Right. Just completely disappear. That's great. Well, Lance, let's get into this top five because I'm interested to see what you have.
Let's do it. Number five. Not even a whole game, just the half. The Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
Chiefs come to town.
Yes.
Again, it's another one of those moments. The Chiefs are going to take care of business. Whatever that. Mm-hmm. I forget the guy's name who talks a lot of garbage and loves the Chiefs and hates the Titans.
Nick Wright, I think.
Nick Wright, yes, Nick Wright. I finally learned his name this year. He was always very annoying and funny at the same time. And this year I'm like, all right, I'm gonna learn your name because I talk about you a lot. I don't watch his show, but I just see his stuff every now and then. And he's so like arrogant with his
right.
You don't understand anything about football, and I'm going to educate you now. The Chiefs are the greatest team ever, and the Titans shouldn't be playing football. Anyway, that's what I see in him, and
Yeah.
so he gave a lot of that garbage before this game, and then it was like,
Hmm.
I mean, crazy beat down in the first half, and I know we didn't do much in the second half, but it was just one of those like situational
Right.
things. So it was great because it was against one of those teams. We were also it wasn't a nationally televised game, but because of the way the sort of game breakdown went and bye weeks, whatever, a lot of the country
Mm.
saw that game. So it was a huge moment for us
Right.
because it was like, yeah, because we had beat them, on that field the year prior. It was important, or 2 years prior, whatever. It was important.
Right.
And that ownership was huge. Were you at the game?
Yeah. I was. I think that is actually the game where my wife and I first actually met up with you at
Oh,
the
right.
concession stand. You had got a water, and we got a picture before the game because I remember asking you. I think either for a score prediction or how you thought the game was going to go, and I can't remember off the top of my head what you said. I think you said it. I'm wanting to say you thought it was going to be close, but of course, Titans coming out on top.
Yeah.
And then I remember sitting there through that first half, and I'm like, well, he's right about the Titans on top here,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the
I thought it would
Chiefs
be
just
closer.
they didn't get off the bus.
No, our defense was too much for them. I think it
Hmm.
was one of those things. I thought, they're just gonna walk all over us. And it was still
Right.
sort of early enough in the season that we had not yet, like, our defense, still coming off the year prior, one of the worst in the league in terms of like
Right.
yardage and kept us in games where we needed it last year. But yeah, no, it was wild. I loved that first half, especially. Number 4.
Hmm.
Uh, Week 3, Colts, Landry was a nightmare. It was sort of Landry's coming out party
Yes.
for the season, I think. Um, I don't know if anyone's ever going to watch this from within the Titans organization that signed paychecks, but pay that man, give him his money. Harold Landry. I mean, it's the four. It's the front four. They complement each other, but keep them all there and happy, and but just pay Harold
Hmm.
because that game week 3, I think it was like 10 or 11, 12 pressures.
Right.
Sacks included, but just the sheer like domination on the line. Yeah, that was a big moment. Again, it was like, oh, there he is, because we didn't get it the year prior.
Yeah.
We didn't get the year prior.
Exactly. Well, and that plays into those four guys complementing each other so well, and like I'm with you. Pay the man because the year before that we weren't really able to get after the quarterback, and now we
No.
have a year where we got after so many quarterbacks so much that I saw where someone tweeted out that maybe in like 15 games last year the Titans had a total of 15 sacks or something
Yeah.
like that, and then in like the last 3 games alone the Titans had like 17
Yeah,
sacks,
no, we
and
became
like
we didn't
it's
just get
crazy.
like better. We became dominant. Yeah, and it was a complete
Right.
reversal from the year before. I mean, the year before, and even years prior to that, like our defenses had their bright spots. Like you can't
Hmm.
do this against us, but you can do that. And our secondary was hurting for a long time. Like, yeah, Kevin's back there, but he didn't have any help in the corners, and
Right.
or just there was always sort of something. I remember Coach Kerry Coombs. He did a really good job, though.
Hmm.
His season, putting us right where we need to be. Anyway, I digress, as I often do. That that defense was so good last year that before with your defense you're just praying, please get off the field, please get off
Hmm.
please don't, please stay within like 3rd and 8, because if we're in 3rd and 26,
Right.
it's an automatic first down. Like, that was the problem.
Exactly.
Like, I didn't want to see 3rd and long. If it was 3rd and long, it's like, just give them
Mm-mm.
the first down already. Let's just reset this, because like this is.
Yeah.
But this season it got to where when our offense was kind of struggling, you were like, all right,
Hmm.
just punt. Let's just punt on 2nd down,
Right.
because I want to see our defense. Like that.
Yeah.
What? You're a Titans. You're telling a Titans fan that you let's just see the defense because they're fun to watch.
Right.
Yeah. that's how good we got, and that's how
Hmm.
dominant that front four is. So yeah, give me the field position game. I love the sport of football so much. It's so it's like chess in so many ways, and a good field
Right.
position game, like a 9-3 game, can be awesome if it's about
Hmm.
that chess stuff and that what's happening, the intricacies
Right.
of the defense and the way they play each other. Our defense is that again, so they're exciting. So the Landry
Right.
Colts week 3 was very much about not just him, but it's like because he's going off, that means that front four is doing it. And like what happened the rest of the
Right.
season? Oh, Autry, Dupree, Simmons, all of them. So it's like
Hmm.
that game was sort of the first sort of domino for then all of that.
Right.
Number 3, top 3 here. Number 3 on the list. Um, Again, not a game, not a game. Though there was a moment in that game that I loved. There were lots of moments, but Titans at LA, the would-be future Super Bowl champs, which makes us de facto
Hmm.
better than them. Uh,
Yeah.
it's first game without Derrick,
Hmm.
prime time, West Coast. Everyone's picking against us. No business being in the game, and we
Yep.
dominated. So, and KB's pick 6 in that game was the
Yep.
cherry on top. Just the way he played it, and just the way Stafford threw a
Hmm.
wince.
Yep.
um, it was a beautiful, beautiful thing. So, that primetime stuff. It's fun to do that in front of the nation, and
Right.
no one's talking about it but us because LA won the Super Bowl. Whatever.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
That
was a
that
game.
that game, like you said, first one without Henry, and it was just really the the game where we saw that the defense could really do everything we needed them to do because
Yeah,
our offense was struggling over the next couple games. They were
yeah,
trying to find their identity without Derrick, and
yeah.
we needed the defense to step up. Like you said, we made Stafford have a Wentz moment and just went into that game. And I know everyone was picking against us. I was telling my brother, I was like, look, this is exactly the type of game that Vrabel gets his guys rallied for, and they end up winning because backs are against the wall. They
Mhm.
shouldn't win it. I was like, they're going to win.
Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, I mean that is kind of our mo, and I mean that's the thing for a lot of teams. I mean we're those impossible games with nothing to lose
Hmm.
either. With sort of a nothing's on the
Right.
line. Just get out there and have some fun. And I can't say that that's what happened in the Bengals game, that we were too hyped. I don't think we were. I think if anything, the Bengals played us like we played the Rams. You know,
Hmm.
when you're the away team, you're on enemy territory, you're the underdog. Um, that's how the Bengals played us. But yeah, in that situation with the
Right.
Titans, that's how we played them. So yeah, sorry, God, I don't know why I went to such a sad thought. I went to the Bengals game.
It's okay. We'll get back on track here with your top
All right,
two.
let's do it. Top 2, number 2. Won't spend long on this one because it's pretty self-explanatory. It is a single play. Again, primetime game. But Bills
Mhm.
Mafia thinking they're going to take care of business this year. He's our guy. Slipped my butt, by the way. Okay, yeah, you slipped after Jeffrey Simmons tackled half your O line. But go ahead, slipped. That's not the point. That's
Yep.
not the play. It was Derrick Henry's long run that had 11 holding calls, as Bills Mafia will say. Whatever.
Yeah.
Quit your crying. The man ran up the middle, ran through your team, and put our
Hmm.
team on his back. Derrick Henry's run was the statement because the year before was when he threw Josh Norman into the bleachers.
Yep.
So it was just like that. Yeah, we got you. I mean, it came down to the
Right.
wire. It did come down to Jeffrey Simmons making a huge tackle or huge stop, but it was the Derrick
Right.
Henry run that got me going. And shall we go on to number 1?
Yeah, we can go ahead and hit number one.
Number one. And you know what? This isn't like this doesn't have the sort of grandiose sort of measurement that all these other moments had. This is just a single play. And we didn't get what we deserved. He didn't get what he
Mhm.
deserved. Derrick Henry in Seattle, just a single
Mhm.
play, but we were getting worked and we had to turn it around, and we did. But part of that turnaround happened when Derrick Henry bounced Quandre Diggs' face off the turf as he took it to the house. And that play, the reason that's
Yes.
number one on my list out of all these, this is sort of it's kind of a random, sort of standard run of the mill Derrick Henry taking it to the house touchdown. But that is what we expected and wanted all season and deserved it. And I want it next year. But
Right.
that's what Derrick Henry does. That is the lifeblood of this team is when stuff like that happens. And I want to see Derrick Henry bounce
Mhm.
more faces off the turf next year. But that for me, that play, like, like is symbolic of who we are, what we do with our guy. And when because they said he's not going to do this to us. And Quandre
Mhm.
had the angle, and Derek
Yep.
whipped him on the speed and laid him down on the ground. And to make matters worse, the network affiliate, I forget what was that. Was that on Fox? I can't remember. No, it would have been CBS. Anyway, had him on the sidelines,
Yeah, I think
throwing his
CBS.
helmet down, and was pissed off because he just got made the fool. And it's just like
Yep.
that's symbolic of who we are. That's emblematic of our team.
Mhm.
I want more of that. So that's what we should have had for the rest of the season. We got robbed of that.
Right.
Got robbed of that.
Exactly. And the part that's so great for me about that play is Diggs, the way he came after Henry was okay. If I come right beside him, he knew that Henry was going to hit that stiff arm. So he's
Yeah.
like, I will get behind Henry and I'll dive and try and take out his legs, wrap him up.
Right.
And, Henry, thinking, okay, he's not going to be able to stiff arm me if I do this. And Henry's like, all right, yeah, I got your damn number here. Eat some dirt.
Well,
Like, just reach
his
him.
right arm is as long as Quandre is tall.
Yeah. he just reached behind him, shoved him down into the dirt, and I was like, that was you talked about the cherry on top with Byard's pick six in LA. That was the cherry on top for
Yeah.
that run, just like you said, putting Diggs' face in the dirt,
Yeah.
and just that capped it off.
Yeah, yeah, I know. It was just single play of like there were bigger plays, there were bigger moments. I know, but we were supposed to get more Derrick Henry stiff arms throughout the season. We got robbed of that one, but we got that one, and
Right.
it came, and they said that he was not going to do that to them, and he did it, and that's what I love
Mm-hmm.
about our team is when they say we can't or we won't, and we do. Unfortunately,
Exactly.
they said that we wouldn't beat the Bengals, and we didn't. No, the thing about it is though, it's like to me we only had there's only one team that beat the Titans at all last season. I said this before, and that is the Cardinals. The Cardinals beat the Tennessee
Mm-hmm.
Titans. The Cardinals beat the brakes off
Yes.
the Tennessee Titans in Week 1 of last year or this last season. But they flat out beat us. They beat us at all phases.
Mm-hmm.
They were ready, and
Right.
we got ready. But all the other losses we had, including the Bengals loss, it was either a combination of shooting ourselves in the foot or just bad luck.
Right.
But
Exactly.
man, we are the team going forward, and I would be shocked if we didn't win a Super Bowl very soon.
I, I know that's what all Titans fans are hoping for. I'm ready to see that. I'm ready for next season to be here because I'm missing Titans football right now. Like, I'm trying to watch some basketball and everything, but it's nothing compared to watching the Titans play, win, lose, or draw, whatever. I want to be watching them out on the field, seeing Henry throw the stiff arms around, seeing AJ Brown do his thing, and just
Yes, sir.
hit the yards after the catch. Just get that man the ball. Jeffrey
Yeah.
Simmons terrorizing quarterbacks. Harold Landry doing it. Like it just I'm ready for next season to be here. And
Yeah, the pieces are
Lance,
there,
I
man.
have to say again, thank you for coming on the show.
Yeah, this is fun, dude. What are we doing? We're talking Titans football. It's like what we. This is great.
Exactly.
This is great. My wife's like, "You're gonna go talk Titans again, aren't you?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's what I do."
Exactly. Well, everyone, this has been all that we've had for you tonight. I hope you enjoyed hearing Lance's top 10 moments off of the top of his head. Great different ways of looking at everything. Like I said, and Jim, hope you have a great rest of the night. Thank you. Titans Rossi as well. Great show, guys. And, just I came up with this idea after the Bengals loss, and of course it was a couple of weeks after. I was like, Titans fans need something positive to look at. Let's look back at let's get different people on, find out top 10 moments, because like I said, everyone's different. Different plays are going to stand out, different moments. Like you mentioned, just Adrian Peterson being in a Titans uniform. It's not necessarily a play or anything that he did, just the fact of we have this Hall of Fame running back that put on a Titans uniform. He put on the two-tone blue. So
it's a neat story. I'm ready to go.
Exactly.
Well, and think about this too. Think about years past. With a Hall of Famer like that who's looking for a job,
right.
Go to a Titans team. Not if we're the 3-13 or 2-14. No. But
right.
guys want to play for us now because of who we are, who we've become, who's at the wheel. It's a good time to be a Titans fan. So, yeah, man, can't win them all, but we're gonna win a lot of them.
That's right, and I'm looking forward to it. Everyone, this has been all that we've had for you tonight. This has been Titans Time, and as always, tighten up.